Hi, welcome back to Swift Sense. I'm Debbie. This is my husband Ray.
Hello.
And today we're going to talk to you about Tom Ford Lost Cherry. We are going to be comparing that with five different clones that we've tried out and given wear tests to. And so let's go ahead and get started.
Well, you ought to go with Tom Ford first, since we're going to be comparing it to that.
Okay. So they're opposite. Okay.
Yeah, I must.
He set me up. Okay, so the first one we have here, this is actually a decant of Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. And this goes for what, $3.35 for a 50 ml. So what size is this? 50 or 30?
Yeah, it's 30.
So about this size bottle for $335. It's kind of pricey. Let's go ahead and get our first impressions. Wow, very cherry at the opening. I mean, that's like in your face cherry to me.
It's definitely a great scent. This is one thing I will say is this is where I think the clones are better than the original, and not as far as smell, but as far as longevity. Tom Ford Lost Cherry, I might get 4 hours before I have to respray it. It's but I love the opening. There ain't, but like I said, it's a great opening, but it just doesn't have the longevity that some of the clones have.
Well, we have the dry down of that too.
Okay.
You still have some of that cherry note, but to me it's getting a little actually sweeter. To me it's a little bit smoky. Kind of leathery.
Now I'm getting no leather, but smoky a little bit. Now I've given all these a wear test a couple of days ago, and I wore every single one of them, and so I know the longevity and how long they lasted on my skin anyway. All right, you want to go to your next one?
All right, so the next one that we have, this is Genre's version, and this is Black Cherry. Let me get the...
There you go.
Now, Genre, they don't have a website yet. Wow, that is in your face cherry, but there's also something sweet behind it. I think you just put your finger in it.
No, it's right here. I can see.
So this is what you get from Genre. Now this one, this is for
$25
for 30 ml. So huge price savings, and you got what, 7 hours out of that?
Yeah, the Genre one. I got 7.
Let me smell that again. Now, honestly, this Tom Ford... Oh, that's the dry down. Where's the...
Here you go.
The Tom Ford is starting to smell more like Sweet Tarts to me. The Genre is still definitely really cherry. That's that. This is the... Dry down. Still very cherry.
Yeah. Like I said, I've already smelled them all.
And these have been sitting, what, like half hour, 45 minutes?
About 45 minutes, yeah. And like I said, I know it smells different on paper than skin, but like I said, I have worn them and I do know the differences. So.
Well, but the difference with when you put them on your skin, it's going to change. On paper, it's a level playing field, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. The next one that we have, now this was from Montaigne.
That's Forgenza.
Well, I'm trying to go down your list so you don't have them in order.
Women.
You have a list. They're not in order on your list. Sorry, Forgenza.
No, that's Montaigne now.
Okay.
That's Forgenza.
Okay. Montaigne.
See what I deal with. See what I deal with.
So when I set up a thing, I set them up in order of how I'm going to talk about them. You don't have your list in that kind of order. You just have them willy-nilly. To me, that's not as cherry as Montaigne. That's not as cherry as the other two were.
I see that crack starting to affect you.
It still smells good, but...
It's very cherry to me. Very cherry.
This is the original. It's not the same kind of cherry, though. It's different. Smell this. This is the Genre.
Okay.
And then smell that. That's the Montaigne.
More cherry.
No, I don't think so.
All right, go ahead. Go to your next. Get some.
Agree to disagree.
Yeah, I definitely.
Oh, but the Montaigne, that one, theirs is called Parfum de Cerise, and theirs is $40 for a 50 ml. This is the dry down. Should have wrote on there, so you know.
Give me the Tom Ford dry down.
Tom Ford. Put these in order so that.
Okay. Here you go.
Hang on a second.
Okay. I'll put it right here.
Sessions. Now they're in order. Okay, this is the original Tom Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So then the next one that we have is the Sensual Obsessions version of Lost Cherry. In my experience, their fragrances have usually been pretty well spot on. We did one with Aventus with like 10 different clones of that and just did a comparison between all of them and rated all of them, and the Sensual Obsessions version came out on top in that.
Yeah,
with,
this one's got
Aventus.
a little bit of cherry, but to me it doesn't have the opening of Tom Ford Lost Cherry.
To me, this is more smoky.
I don't
Than
know if it's
cherry.
smoky or not. It almost smells like Tom Ford mixed with celery.
No, I don't get celery, but
I'm just saying that's kind of the scent I get.
it's more smoky. You definitely don't have that. Like when you smell
have
the
the
Tom
cherry pop.
Ford, I mean, it just like pops like in your face cherry.
Yeah.
I do pick up a cherry vibe, but it's not
Oh
that
yeah, it's got
strong.
cherry. It's got cherry in it.
It's
for
not
sure.
as strong.
And
This is the dry down.
Yeah.
This is getting very faint. To me, it's getting kind of powdery
Yeah, the cherry's not as prominent.
versus this is the original.
Yeah.
This is the original.
Yeah, you still get it, but this one here, the cherry's getting a lot more faint on it.
To me, the Tom Ford version is getting more. I know you said it doesn't have leather in it, but it smells leathery to me, more kind of
Well, I
masculine
don't know
and
if it has leather
smoky.
or not,
But
but I don't get the leather is what I'm
to
saying.
me, the Sensual Obsessions one is powdery.
Yeah.
All right, then the next one that we have is from Alexandria Fragrances. This is Fructus Virginis. And what is their pricing?
There's our, I think that one there, it's for, I'm sorry, $42.99 for a 30 ml and $62.99 for a 55 ml, I believe it is.
That's a pretty potent cherry scent at the opening.
Mhm.
I get. It's a little different, slightly different though than the Tom Ford.
Yeah. Slight, but like I said, it's still nice. So it's that pop.
Which is the Tom Ford? That one.
This one here.
The original Tom Ford is almost gone, and we haven't even been doing this video very long.
Well, I just think it's because that one's more stronger. I can still smell it on there.
Okay, and the dry down for Alexandria. I can barely pick up anything on that. Very faint.
No, I get it.
Down a little bit.
To me, I can smell it fine. I have no problem picking it up. I don't know if it's because your openings or what, but I don't have no problem picking up the dry down on that.
No, this is.
It's not quite as close as Tom Ford, but the cherry's not popping as much
Here's
either.
the Tom Ford.
Yeah.
Smell this,
Okay.
and then smell that.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
I'm hardly getting anything off of this. It's
We're gonna get your nose checked.
look. I'm freshly showered. I'm clean. My sinuses are open, and all right. And then the last one that we have is the Fragranza version. We have a sample that we got.
Yeah, I feel Fragranza and Montage don't get reviewed enough.
Montaigne?
Montaigne, whatever, how you pronounce it. I don't know if it's because they don't give out free samples or people just don't, know about them very well or not.
That's got
But
a nice cherry.
to me, both of them are worth spending a little bit of cash to get a couple samples and test because, like I said, to me they're as good as any of these other ones.
And the Fragranza version, theirs is called Amarena Cherry, and that's $60 for a 60 ml.
That's very nice.
So definitely a good. option versus the original Tom Ford that's so expensive. Okay, and this is their dry down.
Yeah.
So this is the original.
Yeah, you can definitely pick up smoke or something in there. It smells like it for sure. This one's more prominent than this one.
It's very similar,
but
very close, I think.
Yeah, it's close, but you can definitely.
And how long did this one last on your skin?
The Forgenza was 5 hours, I believe. Yeah, 5 hours.
Okay, so 5 hours. Okay, so for the opening, which one do you think is the closest? Do you want to smell them again, or you?
Well, like I said, I've already done the comparisons. You can figure out which one that you like more on the opening. And respray the Tom Ford onto this one here. That's the original. And then you can go back and see. But I know which one, to me, was the closest.
That's what I'm asking you. Which one do you think was closest?
The one that I thought was the closest on the opening when I did them was Montaigne, yeah. And then it was Black Cherry after that.
We didn't write on which was which.
Well, you're just going to have to do new ones if you're going to do openings.
Yeah, because I wanted to...
Yeah, you got to definitely get the... Well, you're going to have to get new paper,
honestly, to me, I thought that...
You can use these even though they're colored. They're going to... I don't know what to kill that dog.
So in the background, you can probably hear my dog barking. He probably hears somebody or sees somebody outside. Okay, so to me, I think the closest on the opening is the Black Cherry by genre.
Okay.
And you thought it was Montaigne?
Montaigne, yeah.
Okay. And then on the dry downs, which we have, I'm just going to quick go through these.
That's fine. Well, honestly, on the openings, Black Cherry, Alexandria Fragrance, and Montaigne all had a 4 out of 5 on me for closeness. So 3 of them were pretty close on the opening.
So to me, on the dry down, Montaigne is the closest. Do you want to smell?
No, I've already done it, hon. Go ahead.
Okay, so what do you think is the closest on the dry down?
On the dry down, definitely Montaigne.
Yeah.
And then it was Black Cherry after that. It was, let me think, it was Montaigne, Black Cherry, basically were...
Like you're wanting to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So out of the 5 different clones that we have, and I think they're all good alternatives, but if you're looking for the ones that are the closest, I would say Montaigne and then Black Cherry.
Mm-hmm.
And their performance is pretty good too, because you got about 7 hours on both of those.
Yeah, I think my ratings when I wore them, opening and dry down, I marked them all down so I knew what I was doing. But it was, like I said, the Black Cherry, the Montaigne, and the Alexandra one were all very close at the very opening. But at the end, it ended up being, like I said, it was Montaigne, then it was Black Cherry, then it was Alexandria Fragrance, then it was Forgenza, then Central Obsessions was my how it rounded out. Like I said, it was basically because of the scent trail at the very end, which one smelled the closest to Tom Ford. But to me, you can't go wrong with any of them. To me, all of them are better than Tom Ford for longevity, and that's where the money's at. For $335, when I got a respray after 4 hours, it ain't worth it to me.
All right, so go ahead and put your comments below. Maybe you've tried some of these different clones that we've shown you here. Give us your feedback, your experiences with them. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Let your friends know, and I'll see you next time on Swift Scents.